Welcome to HyperWorks V15 training series, and this is the most updated and the training release which can increase your productivity. And this video training is for everyone who is related to R&D, design, engineering, and also if you are looking at the GM portfolio, then also this is for you, and CA engineers, CA analyst, and application engineer, and engineering domain, and all this vertical where you have the involvement of analysis. And there are various different portfolios involved under this HyperWorks, and I will quickly show you what are those. And course objective is we'll learn the advanced application of finite element analysis, and the course we have designed by keeping fundamentals to advanced CE application in mind. We have also included industry standard projects to better understand the concept and how to apply, and you will be able to understand more about boundary conditions, material selection, pre-processing, post-processing, and validating. But with respect to the certain conditions, once you see the course curriculum, then you will come to know that what exactly we have covered. And I am Pramit Kumar Senapati, subject matter consultant, and primarily I have my own research portfolio in CAE and GD&T, and you can find more details about me in LinkedIn profile, and you can connect me also through Facebook. And the agenda here is who are our targeted audience, what do they do, and the different modules which you have covered, and prerequisites, and a sample course preview where we will look at the quality of our training courses and the final deliverables. So who are our targeted audience? So if you see, most of the people, they wonder why, who, and how to learn that, and when to learn that, a typical CAD CAM CAE package. And typically here we are talking about CAE, the application program, and this answer you will get through this training series. And the targeted audience are the application engineers, design engineer CAD, design engineer CAE, CAD designer, and CAE designer, and development engineer, R&D engineer, product design and development engineer, and project team leaders, GM design, CAD trainers, tool design portfolios, auto domain designers, auto domain and aero domain collectively cater to this, and product design engineers, SPM design engineer, CA analyst, and consultants. And what do they do primarily is very important to understand. So primarily in CA portfolio, all this you'll find in all my CAD design portfolio. And finally, you try to create a new alternatives where you save directly your money, and directly, as this is a non-destructive testing method, so you directly save money in testing also, and repeated iteration which you do, and directly you can have a material configuration, you can have a new material, you can change the design, and you can find the solutions against the issue. So that means you can fix the related problems or failure. So you can fix your failure. That means if you are having a existing design and you have some issues related to your design, that can be fixed, and that you can find. And directly this is related to your dollar, and directly you save your money, and that is the primary intention behind all the CAE portfolios, and where primarily all this task you do, but primarily which I was highlighting here is the key portfolio. And modules highlights per HyperWorks V15, and mostly you can never ask for a curriculum or the course detail, but we'll discuss more about this here, and we'll be looking at the introduction and HyperWorks for CFD overview, and Hypermesh CFD workflow and user profile in Hypermesh, and CFD mesh requirement, surface meshing with exercise, that is the projects, and CFD volume meshing with exercise, CFD tetra meshing, hexacore meshing, and remeshing for the different refinement conditions, element check, and tetra mesh optimization, sector and periodic meshing, and model export scenario, AcuSolve setup, and CFD load mapping, and HV for post processing also will be doing, and more than 15 projects will be dealing inside this core curriculum. And prerequisite is something which you need to understand about the 2D drawings and design and its complete requirement, why you do changes, and what is the end requirement of your client, how you can refine that, and all this basic understanding evolves around 3 to 4 subjects. So first of all, you need to understand more about material property, and second thing is about the machine design, and third thing is you need to know about the fluid. And next, you have to know about the thermal process. And next, very important is strength of material. And last but not the least is the machine drawing. So these all six portfolios you need to understand before going through this training series, and then only you can really apply this and take the benefit. And let us have a sample course preview. And here we'll be discussing about HyperWorks for CFD applications and the fundamental concept we'll be looking at. And here are our course objective: CFD Pre-Processing, the DOE and Optimization Study, and CFD Analysis with AcuSolve, and CFD Analysis Workflow in HyperWorks. And before moving further into this CFD Pre-Processing, directly I will show you what all different portfolios are available inside your HyperWorks. If you see this different modules available here under this Hypermesh, you can see the Hypermesh, Radios, OptiStruct, Abacus, LSDyna, and Nastran, PEMCrash, and so on. And if you move to the manufacturing solution, here you have the Hyperform, Hypermold, Hyperextrude, Hyperweld, Forging. And if you go to engineering solution, here you have the CFD, Crash, NVH, the drop test, aerospace. And finally, if you move to the basic FEA, you can have the fundamentals of FEA. So currently we'll be looking at this AcuSolve, this CFD, and here this is one of the module. And directly when you enter, you will see the interface something like this, and that will be covering inside our the tetra mesh and all this which I was discussing, and this all portfolio will be looking in brief. And if you look at the hypermesh, and here you have the various different portfolios for pre-processing. You have to go for the solver neutral preprocessor and mesh and organize the CFD model so that it is very accurate and close to your real model prototype. And also the CFD meshing and morphing and load mapping also the portfolios you have to set the profile, and different other exchange also it supports like the input and output support for the AcuSolve, and CFX for your ANSYS and all, Fluent, Star CD, and Nastan format, and all these various other format also it supports for input and output portfolios. And in HyperWorks, the hyperview and the hypergraph are used for showing you the presentation and the graphical view and visual data interactively you can see, and you can capture and standardize post-processing process as well. If you have a particular process and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 process, and that you can standardize as well, and also you can get your result and visualize that. And hyper study and hypermorph, what happens is there you typically do the optimization, and like here you need a refinement, or maybe at this joint you need a refinement, here at the curvature and you need a different kind of meshing rather than these areas, and here also you have a sharp curve, and wherever the densities and typical requirement you have, that parameterized model you can create, and you can have your close data related to your typical requirement. And if you see this particular Acusolver, the CFD analysis, what it can do is it can directly define and show you the fluid structure and moving deformation And as well, for the turbulence model, you have the support for LES and DES as well as the RANS model also. So that we'll be discussing in brief what are those. And based on that, you directly get your interpretation and the phenomena which directly you can see. And during this particular solution process and intermediately you can see the each and every structure and behavior. Here you can see the portfolios like the geometry cleanup. You have to clean up before going to your final output, and you do the meshing and then morphing for matching it. And then you select your solver or the solution, and then finally you visualize your result. These are the three different steps which you do. In this first three stage, again you have three portfolios. You have to clean up your model, and before cleanup you have to have your CAD file, and that CAD file can be done in CATIA, SolidWorks, Creo, NX, or whatever the package you use. Then you have to go for a cleanup, and once you do the cleanup you have to go for the mathematical meshing model. Then you have to do the morphing and match with the domain, then select your solver, and finally you go for the visualization. And if you see this here, this first part, Hypermesh AcuConsole is taking care of this, and AcuSolver is taking care of this, and HyperView is taking care of this. So three different products you can find here. So this is not about one thing. So AcuSolver, HyperView for viewing the result, and HyperMesh you have to use. So HyperMesh is the key backbone, whatever the software package you use. So you have to go through HyperMesh, then AcuSolver, then HyperView. So in most of our 30 to 40% classes will be on HyperMesh, and then AcuSolver, and finally 10% will be in HyperView, because that is just result and visualization. And HyperStudy is basically all about this selection and optimization if you want to optimize. And the deliverables are very straightforward. So we'll be delivering the soft copies, part file and assembly file and drawing file which we have used, lifetime support related to technical doubts through forum support, and we'll be giving you PDF whenever required for reference, and tips and tricks session with all the module for increasing productivity, and all modules video license file will be also given to you. Thank you for watching.